Hi everybody and welcome back. Okay, let's start this video on a more relaxed note before we get into the rest, the more emotional stuff. So let's start with a short rundown of current news before we go into what I really want to talk about. I want to firstly join Yankee Wally and Paula M in recommending that you follow Trevor Colt on YouTube. And for those of you who have Instagram, I recommend you follow him there as well. He is a lovely man with a good sense of humor and very honest. I'll leave links to his Instagram and YouTube channels in the description box below. Okay, so I see Princess Charlene of Monaco was rushed to hospital after collapsing, possibly due to the complications from an operation she had previously. It is said that she was due for a second operation on the 3rd of September, but was unable to have the procedure. Now the media is swinging this way and that way on the whole scenario, some saying that she had been unable to fly due to her medical condition, and I have read elsewhere that that is indeed true. This condition was caused by an ear, nose, and throat infection she contracted while visiting South Africa and attending King Goodwill Zwelithini's funeral in March. And then after that, she was doing some work for a rhino and anti-poaching charity. However, others are speculating on her marriage to Prince Albert. Prince Albert and the children had been to visit twice in the past few months, so I don't know. Although it is uncertain how long Charlene had been in South Africa for, whether she had been here since March or whether she came back in May and then contracted the infection, I don't know. But I have been told that she had not been seen at public events in Monaco since January 2021, which in totality is a bit odd, I think, in my opinion. I was also told that the half mohawk she sported in December was not a fashion statement, as reported in the media, but was most likely out of necessity and as result of her ENT and medical issue. In other words, a condition which existed before she came to South Africa. Well, again, I do not know this, but it is the gossip which is currently doing the rounds. Personally, I've never been able to get much of a handle on Charlene Woodstock, and for some reason, I have never really taken to her. There has always just been something about her which I do not like much, and for no particular reason whatsoever. I always thought that this was a marriage which should not have happened in the first place. Yet another mismatch. But who am I? I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong. Prince Albert, despite all the gossip and facts about his philandering and romantic escapades, has always come across to me as a fairly good man, and I respect the fact that he owned up to his responsibilities and took care of and openly stayed in the lives of his illegitimate children. I wish other princes would have been that honest. Charlene, to me, however, has always come across as a rather cold and aloof person. But maybe she's an introvert, and we South Africans can come across slightly cold and aloof when we are introverts, just as extrovert South Africans can be obnoxious and loud. So who knows? Maybe she is a good soul too. Okay, so let's take a deep breath and finally tackle the elephant in the room. I wanted to do a short video on it last night, but I'm glad I changed my mind, as today I am calm and could perhaps put across what I want to say more coherently. So what I want to talk about primarily is Prince Harry and the new Lifetime movie Escaping the Palace. As you've all heard by now, the movie starts with the actress portraying Meghan Markle lying dying in a wreck of a vehicle, and Prince Harry, or the actor playing him, pushing through the crowd, and then the Meghan character pleading with him to help her. Then the Harry character wakes up and is relieved to find his wife and son in bed next to him. Now, firstly, the opening scene is grisly, to say the least. Totally unnecessary, and as someone who was in a serious car accident with my then 7-year-old daughter, I can tell you that an accident such as depicted in this film is nothing to joke about or fool around with, and I think it is disgusting on that basis alone that the writers and producers even thought of making that the opening scene and to film it in such a dramatic and vulgar way. In my case, the accident happened many years ago. My older daughter, who was in the car with me, was 7 at the time, and she is now 35. We were both badly injured, but survived and healed. The car was a total wreck, and the panel van, which swerved into us, managed to keep going, and the driver was never caught. But anyway, although any such scenes do bring back memories for me, and I thank God each time that we came out of it without permanent physical injuries, I'm no longer traumatized by seeing such scenes in videos or on film. However, there are people who had been through a similar ordeal more recently, or who may have lost a loved one as a result of a tragic accident, and who may still experience similar nightmares as I had for a while. It is beyond me how the woke brigade, who are constantly at us about mental health, could even consider this as an opening scene for a movie and depict it in such a way. Added to that, the fact that it meant to copy or draw a parallel to the accident Princess Diana died in, it makes it even more deplorable. So let's leave William and Harry out of it for just 1 minute. Princess Diana and I differ exactly 2 years and a few days in age. I was 18 when she married Charles at barely 20. She had 2 sons, I had 2 daughters. She was in a bad marriage, and so was I. I was never blind to her faults, but because I experienced similar emotions more or less at the same time and for similar reasons, I could understand some or most of her actions. So, in a way, I, like I'm sure many other women did, almost felt like we were kindred spirits. Although I cannot say that I idolized her, I did buy all the magazines with her on the cover, bought books on her, etc., etc. I felt that somewhere between the pages of the books and gossip magazines, I got to know her a little, as I believe many other people felt they did. I remember hearing a news report on the television stating that Princess Diana was in a serious car accident, and I remember turning the sound up so I could listen while I was going about my chores. And I remember the moment the announcement was made that she had died as a result of the accident. To me, it felt like I had lost a friend, even though I had never met her in the flesh. Since the death of Diana, I had lost real friends due to illness or accidents, but each one was different, not just where the causes of death are concerned, but also different in the emotions that these untimely deaths brought. Some deaths brought fear, others a period of depression, and others an overwhelming sense of loss and loneliness. Each loss, including Diana's death, was uniquely different. And for me to even attempt to equate Diana's tragic death to that of Meghan Markle's potential death, or anyone else's for that matter, is not only ridiculous, but is disgusting, disrespectful to Diana, her family, her children, and the public, and even in a way to Meghan. Now, the question remains, was Harry and Meghan in any way involved in the making of this movie, as it very obviously plays on Harry's fears and what he said in the Oprah interview, namely, they would not have stopped until she was dead, and how he expressed his fear of history repeating itself. If they were not involved as such, did they, at the very least, give their approval or not? So, to answer that, I went digging. First, I consulted United States law. Now, it is absolutely legal for people to write unauthorized biographies, make documentaries, or dramas about people without needing their permission. You do not need permission to portray a real person in a work of art, such as a book or a movie, and this happens all the time. But it is not that simple. And in reality, there is a very precarious and thin line between what is legal and what you can get into trouble for in such an endeavor. And for proper explanation, I decided on an article on the Sterling Firm's website. In this article, it states that in such an endeavor, there is a fine balance between the filmmaker or author's First Amendment freedom of speech and the subject's individual rights. Everyone has the right to not have their reputation defamed. Everyone has the right to privacy, has the right to not have their name or image exploited for commercial profit without their consent. And this is very important. Never mind. Thus, there are three legal issues involved, namely 1. Defamation, 2. Right of privacy, and 3. The right of publicity. I've not seen the movie yet, so there may not be anything in there which could be defaming Meghan and Harry, as they themselves have openly spoken about the circumstances surrounding them leaving the monarchy. They will have a hard time fighting this on the basis of their right to privacy. But when it comes to number 3, the right of publicity, that is where it becomes a sticky issue. The producers, actors, and everyone involved in the making of this movie is obviously being paid to do so, as is the channel which will show it, namely via advertising revenue, etc. Thus, there is no question that this is a paid for or for profit project. The right of publicity is the right of any individual, including Harry and Meghan, to commercially profit from their own name or image, and the non-consensual use of another's name or image for commercial gain is indeed prohibited. So you guys can go read it all for yourselves on the Sterling Firm's website. I found that it was this particular article that explained it to me almost in layman's terms, or in terms that I could understand. So I do recommend it. But yeah, if you're more interested in this, then go read it for yourselves on the Sterling Firm's website, as it does become very complicated and there are many ifs and buts. But at the end of the day, it is unlikely that anyone would risk making a film about Harry and Meghan without their approval, or at least their approval of the final product. It would be just too risky. The Harry and Meghan Escaping the Palace is a Lifetime channel made for TV movie. Lifetime is an American basic cable channel that is part of Lifetime Entertainment Services, a subsidiary of A&E Networks, which is jointly owned by Hearst Communications and, ta-da, the Walt Disney Company. Okay, so we all know Meghan herself has worked with the Walt Disney Company and as such have met a few of its executives or top brass. So explain to me why these people would allow for this film to be produced on their dime and time without Meghan and Harry knowing about it or approving of it. I don't think so. Another interesting fact is that the scriptwriter for the film is Scarlett Lacey, daughter of Robert Lacey, a British historian and author of Battle of the Brothers William and Harry, blah, 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 and the very same Robert Lacey, who is the historical consultant to the Netflix series The Crown. Now, please, can anyone explain to me how Harry and Meghan cannot be involved or could not have known about the content or storyline of this film, or how they could not have been consulted or approved of it? In my opinion, it is very, very unlikely that they were not consulted or their approval sought. It is even possible that they received some financial reward themselves, in my opinion, of course. So, my friends, how do we deal with this now? Well, for one thing, neither Harry nor Meghan should ever again talk about mental health to anyone but their own psychiatrist, and should they ever venture out on a stage for a program to talk about mental health, they should be booed right off the stage or the program completely boycotted. I also wish and hope that William will now get a court interdict against his brother, his sister-in-law, and his Auntie Sarah to never again speak publicly about his mother, Princess Diana. It is absolutely disgusting that these three people in particular are now profiting from Diana's death, and in my opinion, they should be stopped in their tracks as soon as possible. Okay, my dear friends, I still have a lot I want to talk to you about, but it is the weekend and I need to prepare dinner and feed the animals and go about my business. So I'll be back soon to talk about the rest. Until I do get back, please take good care of yourselves and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.